Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into a project that's once again commanding attention, Kaspa. The community is buzzing, and the sentiment is split right down the middle. Some voices are warning of potential risks, while others are celebrating like they've just uncovered the next golden opportunity. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what's unfolding, why it matters, and the key signals you should be watching as we move through October. Stick with me until the end, because the story gets more compelling the deeper you look. This video is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research before investing in crypto. Let's start with the more cautious side of the conversation. A prominent figure, Max, recently posted what he described as his final warning on Kaspa. His concern centers on the rise of Layer 2 solutions. According to his analysis, if too much user activity and transaction fees migrate toward Layer 2 networks, then Kaspa's main Layer 1 chain could suffer. Why? Because miners depend on those fees, and if rewards dry up, smaller miners could exit the network. That exodus would leave only large-scale players in control, which might reduce decentralization and ultimately weaken security by lowering the overall hash rate. The question is, are these risks grounded in reality, or is this simply fear spreading through the community? What do you think about the possibility of Layer 2 draining value away from Layer 1? Now, to balance that cautious outlook, let's flip the coin and look at the bullish narrative. Axel from the Kaspa Revolution team shared some striking data recently. According to him, the network is not shrinking. It's actually expanding. In just a matter of 2 days, public node counts jumped from 397 to 482. That's close to 100 new nodes added in less than 48 hours, which suggests that decentralization is strengthening, not weakening. His argument is straightforward. More nodes equal more resilience, more trust, and a stronger network. He believes that as the infrastructure grows, both the price and the hash rate will naturally follow. So now we have two competing storylines. On one side, concerns about centralization. On the other, clear evidence of rapid network expansion. Which one do you believe reflects reality? To really understand where things stand, we need to look at the practical developments on Kaspa's Layer 2 ecosystem. According to Kaspa Daily, there are currently 3 decentralized applications live on Kaspa's Layer 2, and among them, Zealous Swap is leading the charge. With a total value locked of about $490K, it might not sound like massive numbers compared to billion-dollar DeFi protocols on other chains, but when you consider that Kaspa is still rolling out smart contract functionality, this is a meaningful milestone. It proves that adoption is happening. The real debate now is whether this growth on Layer 2 supports the Layer 1 ecosystem by driving utility, or whether it validates the concerns of people like Max, who fear Layer 1 could lose relevance. Keep that thought in mind as we continue. Community sentiment is another area worth noting. Kaspa Daily highlighted that Kaspa currently ranks second in overall community sentiment among the top 100 cryptocurrencies. Second place out of 100 projects is no small feat, especially when so many established names dominate the space. But here's the reality check. Strong sentiment doesn't always translate into price performance. We've all seen crypto projects with die-hard communities that still fail to gain traction in the market. The question is, can Kaspa convert this positive sentiment into sustainable momentum on the charts? Speaking of narratives, here's a twist that caught the community's attention. Jim Cramer, the well-known financial commentator who has historically criticized crypto, recently made some comments about buying digital assets. Kaspa's official account used this as an opportunity to highlight the current financial climate. They pointed out that U.S. national debt has now surged past $37 trillion, with new dollars being printed constantly just to keep the system afloat. Their message was clear. Traditional finance only survives by creating more debt and printing more fiat, which erodes value. Against that backdrop, crypto is emerging as a hedge. And while most eyes are still fixated on Bitcoin, Kaspa positions itself as the next chapter, a proof-of-work network that's fast, censorship-resistant, and fair in its design. They argue that unlike paper money, Kaspa represents a hard digital asset, and importantly, it's still early enough for new investors to enter. The open question is whether Kaspa can really claim the digital gold narrative, or if Bitcoin still firmly owns that role. Let's zoom into some technical analysis now, because the charts often reveal what sentiment alone cannot. Analyst Bankquote shared an interesting perspective. He argued that Kaspa succeeds because it lets natural market forces determine scarcity. In other words, instead of implementing artificial thresholds, fee structures, or monetary policies, Kaspa simply allows supply and demand to do their work. He warns that introducing extra mechanisms could expose the network to manipulation, censorship, or herd-like behaviors. This minimalist philosophy is at the heart of Kaspa's identity. It keeps the base layer neutral and clean. But the big question remains: can this philosophy alone sustain Kaspa through competitive pressures and bear market cycles? Looking at the price charts, Kaspa peaked around 9 cents in late August. Since then, the trend has shifted downward, with the token struggling to stay above 8 cents and currently trading around 7.7 cents. This price level is critical because it has acted as strong support multiple times in September. If Kaspa falls below 7.7 cents, we could see it retesting 7.5 or even 7.4 cents, both levels that were previously tested earlier in the month. The broader pattern shows lower highs, which indicates sellers are still applying pressure. Yet, here's what's notable. Despite this downward movement, Kaspa hasn't collapsed. That resilience suggests there may be steady accumulation happening behind the scenes. For bulls, the first positive sign would be reclaiming 8.5 cents, with a stronger confirmation coming if the price breaks convincingly above 9 cents again. Let's dig into indicators. The Relative Strength Index, or RSI, is hovering around 40. That's not fully oversold territory, but it is leaning in that direction, which means there's still room for a deeper dip before a significant bounce. Open interest is sitting at about $464 million, indicating traders are keeping their positions open without any extreme liquidation activity. Long positions are slowly ticking up, though shorts are also rising, which reflects the cautious mood. Meanwhile, the MACD is flattening near the zero line, showing a lack of strong momentum either way. A decisive MACD crossover to the upside could be one of the first early signs of a meaningful recovery. Until then, it's a waiting game. So what's the short-term outlook for Kaspa in October? It all comes down to whether that 7.5 to 7.7 cent support band holds. If it does, the door opens for a rebound toward 8.5 or even back to 9 cents. A solid breakout above 9 would restore bullish momentum and potentially put 10 cents back on the radar. But if support fails and the price slips under 7.2 cents, Kaspa could find itself stuck in a longer accumulation range, delaying any breakout hopes. Another piece of the puzzle is the community itself. Kaspa supporters are relentless. Thousands of them are campaigning for major exchange listings, especially Binance. They argue that Kaspa is the most advanced proof-of-work network ever created, and they won't stop pushing until it gains the visibility they believe it deserves. This kind of grassroots energy has propelled projects before, but as always, hype must be paired with fundamentals and strong price action. Can community pressure alone land Kaspa a spot on the world's biggest exchanges? Time will tell. Before we wrap up, let's address the bigger picture. Kaspa's long-term success doesn't hinge solely on one factor, whether it's tech, community, or price action. What truly matters is whether the project can maintain its core principles of neutrality, scalability, and resistance to over-engineering while still evolving to meet market demand for DeFi and smart contracts. Balancing these two forces, minimalism at the base layer and adaptability on top, will determine Kaspa's fate. The October price movements are just symptoms of this larger dynamic. So there it is. Kaspa is standing at a crossroads. The warnings are loud, the optimism is strong, and the market is paying close attention. Will Kaspa prove that its clean, neutral Layer 1 philosophy can thrive alongside new Layer 2 innovations, or will the network struggle to balance ideology with growth? Either way, the next few weeks are going to reveal a lot about where this project is truly headed. Thanks for watching. Like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit subscribe if you want more real-time updates, moves, market trends, and hidden gems.